That's what I. Well, that is me.
Oh, it is. You know what? Someone spoke, right? And your icon came up, but it wasn't your voice. I was thinking it wasn't you. What's happening, Bear Hugger, man?
Not much, man. Long time no speak, good sir.
Good to hear you, man. Good to know you're still alive, brother.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't mean that in any weird way. It's just when you don't hear from people in a while, it's just nice to know that they're still with us.
Of course, of course.
Well, you know, with the name change and everything, Fox probably got confused.
I prefer Bear Hugger, to be honest, because that's how I met him. So whenever I see, I'm never quite sure if it's Bear Hugger when I see that name that he uses.
Yeah, whenever you see Fiddle Mephisto in your chat, that's always going to be me.
But you know obviously you know what your name means, don't you?
What, Fiddle Mephisto?
Yeah.
I know what it means, but that's not how I got it.
Okay. Well, obviously I don't believe in all that devil bullshit, but
oh yeah, no, it's got nothing to do with that. It was actually an old school name that was actually put together by two different names that my friend made up a long time ago, back when we used to be on the Yahoo chat days, way back in the late or early 90s.
I thought you were gonna. Oh wow, that's that. Yep. I remember those days, man.
Yep, a long time ago. He had like one name.
One of the only ways you could chat at that time.
Yep. Well, ICQ outside from that, but nobody really ever used ICQ except for spamming private shit. I'm trying to find this article for you there, Craig. That's in conjunction to the whole video game politic bullshit that I was looking at earlier. It was something to do with, I forget what area it was, but they were trying to put more taxes on M-rated games or something like that in some state.
Okay.
Since all this crap came about.
Yeah, I did not even know that was. I mean, because that's like something that happened in the 80s. I remember that argument going on in the 80s here in the United States, or maybe early 90s. It was like the games are getting too violent. The game Night Trap, matter of fact, came out on the Sega Genesis, and people started complaining then.
Dude, in the UK, the Catholic Church was outraged at Pac-Man because of the ghosts. They said it was satanic. Seriously, I remember the headlines. The Catholic Church in the UK sort of they went on a bender over Pac-Man. Said it was encouraging kids that ghosts are friendly and stuff. Like there's anything such thing as a ghost anyway. Has anyone ever seen a ghost? If you have, you either were high as a kite or you got problems, man. No one ain't seen no ghosts. Trust me.
That is true. Well, gentlemen, we are live. Almost hit the wrong button there. And so I'd like to welcome everybody to Craig's Corner, this early evening happy hour podcast, we'll say here. I know it's later on over there in the UK. And so let me give a big shout out to everybody that's joining us today, everybody in the chat that will be here or come later and listen later. Thanks for being here. Always drop your questions in the chat. We'll definitely try to get to them. Any movie questions or anything like that, that's fine too. So thanks, Bear, appreciate it. And so yeah, big shout out to the people in Australia, the people on the East Coast of the United States, and the left coast or West Coast. What is happening, people? Got all the new subs in Imperial Japan. What is happening? Or we just call it Japan now. Couple subs in India and China. All right. And over in Wakanda. Cannot leave the Wakandans out of this. You know, what's happening, everybody there. So, but I got three esteemed guests here. They were able to make it here on a Friday evening and Friday night if you're Fox, I believe, over there in the wonderful region of the UK. So I'll go ahead and start with you, Fox. You're the long distance guest here. This is international. We got Fox in the UK. We got Fatal in Canada.
Let me just correct one thing. The UK is not wonderful.
Oh, I figured it was nice weather over there.
Ah, man. I don't know what movies they be showing you out there about England, but weather should we get good weather for probably like 6 weeks in a whole year. And not even like a good run. It's like sporadic. Like we'll get like maybe a week of hot weather, then rain for a week and 2 weeks, and might get. This is summer I'm talking about. But thank you anyway. England is a nice country. People are very calm. most of the time. Great people. I wouldn't exactly say wonderful, but thank you anyway. It's always nice to hear a fellow brother from the States speak so highly of this country.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Go ahead, Fatal. You go ahead and go next. Joining us from the beautiful, great white north of Canada.
Oh, you mean snow? No, screw that. Yeah. What's up, everybody? Fatal Mephisto here. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me there, Craig. I appreciate it.
No problem. Bear's making a double appearance. He's here yesterday. I'm sorry, Fatal, making a double appearance here. You know, and I appreciate it. And as always, we're joined by my brother from another mother, the most toxic gamer on YouTube and on Twitter, according to the toxic community. And until he came to the Messiah, and I absolved his sins. So give yourself a big shout out there, J-Dub, if you're still listening, brother.
Yo. Hey, everybody. It's your boy, J-Dub, a.k.a. Kratos, the god of PlayStation and all things gaming, here once again.
Yes.
Craig's Corner. So we got some hot topics today. Let's get it, man. I'm ready.
All righty, we'll go ahead and kick it on off here. Because you all see the big fish there. I'll save that for later on about this huge Xbox news. Now, I don't know how, because I'm not very computer literate, I should say, but I don't know how to make the screenshots on it saying, something's happening big, or I don't know how to do that. So, but there's big Xbox news. Let's just say Sony cannot do what this is going to do. This is amazing news, so I mean, it's better than Game Pass, because you need this before Game Pass. So it's just makes Game Pass look silly. It's a good deal. Got some God of War news. It's news to me because I'm just now starting to kind of follow it. I've been involved, of course, with everything going on with Wakanda. Some Spider-Man news is starting to come out of the comic book world on what we can expect. Again, those people over there got different kind of contacts, and they're using them right now. And then there's some other fun topics. There's stuff that we'll get to. The Congress trying to impose a tax or a series of taxes on M-rated, mature video games, PEGI 18, stuff like that. So, all right, but we'll just start on off here. Let's go to the big juicy topic. Let's talk about Congress, possibly, as Bear was just talking about this, so we'll let Bear go ahead and lead. I'm sorry, Fatal, go ahead and lead off. Old habit there, Fatal. I'm sorry.
I'll have to bring up the link again. My bad, close it off. But yeah, basically, I'm not sure what territory it was, or what area it was. But according to GamesIndustry.biz, reports that a Republican member of the Rhode Island State House, Robert, can't pronounce the guy's last name, has plans to increase the tax on games with rating of M or higher by 10%. That is some bullshit. But,
facts.
I mean, if you live in Rhode Island, yeah, that is some bullshit. If you live in Rhode Island, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Outrage. It all links towards what Trump said the other day about gaming is the reason why kids are doing what they're doing and shit like that, which is not true at all. But hey, what could you do, right? What could you do?
Yeah, they can't blame it on the person actually being able to get the gun. But J-Dub, what do you think about this possibly happening? I remember in the 90s a game called Night Trap on the Sega Genesis CD. That was on like the 6 o'clock news. That's why people went out and bought it. I never heard of the game before, but it had I believe the late Dana Plato was the main actress. So, but basically you were trying to save a bunch of teenagers from getting killed. So, sort of, it's called Until Dawn at this point. It's kind of the same thing. But so what do you think about it, J-Dub, as far as them being Congress wanting to impose a tax on everybody?
I think it's a no, can you hear me now?
Yeah, gotcha. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I think it's a fake ruse for them to bypass the whole gun control measure that everybody's begging for. Even little kids are begging for it. It's another way for them to do nothing. They want to blame video games. They've been trying to do it for the longest. And again, at the same time, there are things in place to keep kids from buying mature rated games.
Right.
But they just want to, blame video games so they can go back and continue to make take donations and all this money from the NRA and the other lobbies. That's all it is. It's just lazy politicians doing what they normally do, and that's just take money and do nothing for the people.
Yeah, except take money.
That's all they do. That's all they're known for doing, and they're not voted in by us. They don't do right by us. All they do is take money. I think we need to take them into the town square and take a bunch of rocks and chunk at them. That's all they're good for.
There you go. It's on the pound sand. What about you, Foxy Games UK? What do you think about them looking at it to take more money out of our pockets and just on this bogus charge? I mean, everybody knows why people are committing violent acts. They have access to the material to commit the violent act. But what do you think about it, Foxy Games?
Well, you know that you hit the nail on the head. Really, the tax is just an excuse to bring more money into these elite, the elites' pockets, bank accounts, because obviously the rich man makes his money from the ghetto, meaning all the poor people get trampled on, and people in abject poverty, at least compared to them. So obviously rich people have to step on poor people in order to maintain their wealth. We know that already. So that's just a poor excuse to add a tax on video games. They'll do it for fizzy drinks in the UK. They want to tax candy, which is sweets in the UK. They'll tax anything that is deemed to be a burden on the health services, right? Or on psychological services, right? Or mental health services, right? So anything that they, remember this, they're poisoning you because you can't buy the junk unless they put it out there. And then they blame you for buying the junk that they're poisoning you with. And then they tax you on top of it. So it's an excuse, video games. It's just a scapegoat. And, at the end of the day, if you commit a heinous act like a school shooting, and my heart goes out to those people who lost loved ones, it's being reported in the UK every day. We're probably getting it as regularly as you guys are back on your own turf. So we understand and we feel the pain that is happening from the UK. We have very good gun control here, okay, because we don't believe in a militia being well armed because the government is going to take over. Listen, if the government wants to take over, guns are not going to stop them anyway. Let me tell you that, because they can brainwash people. Your own neighbor will grouse on you. So don't worry about owning a gun, because listen, people will shop you in. So that's a ridiculous excuse. And anyone who more to the point, anyone who transgresses on another, takes the life of another, heinous acts, evil crimes, they were sick anyway. So anything could have set them off. Video games, a movie, a book, someone that might look strange to them, because these people have a warped sense of reality. They don't see the world in the same way that we do. Okay, people who are actually sane, right? So at the end of the day, video games will always be blamed because it's easier to point the finger somewhere else and tax a group of people who love the medium. They love video games, and it just takes the heat off the NRA, so they don't have to really do anything. I mean, this is a company that makes billions of dollars from gun sales, so it's not in their interest to ban weapons. It's not in their interest to help protect young people or anyone from gun violence. That's like asking somebody who will sell your mortgage not to tear down the house. Do you know what I'm saying? To bulldoze the house. Don't sell it, get rid of the house. Why would they do that? That's where they make their money. So the people really have to come together like these brave young people are doing, and they have to make their voices be heard. And I actually wish they would lower the voting age so that young people who are more sensible than these congressmen and members of parliament or the government in your country. These kids are smarter than them, so they should be given the right to vote. I don't know how they can go in the army and die for their country, but they're not allowed to get the vote until they get to a certain age, right? Let them vote these morons out of power so that somebody who agrees with their philosophy can lead the country.
Yeah. Well, speaking of morons, big shout out to Xbox guy there in the chat. So, and that's another big shout out to what was it, Thomas Hand over there in Scotland? What's going on there, brother? I forgot to mention them. Nobody can answer why Scotland Yard is in England. Wouldn't it be in Scotland? But,
Scotland Yard.
Yeah.
They're all, let me tell you something. All of these institutions are merely there for the control of the people. Okay? They don't serve the public, they serve the elite. You understand?
Facts.
They don't serve the public. Your government, no government cares about their people. No government does, because if the government cared about you, this shit wouldn't be happening.
Facts.
You wouldn't have to work more hours, like a slave, really, in this whole employment. Like there's a reason why they call it human resources. You know that in your workplace, because that's all you are. That's all you are. Is a human resource. You're no different from a battery, and they're gonna drain you to the grave, take all your energy working, keep you busy, so you're ignorant to what's going on because you're too busy to look up and see all the fuckery that's going on. Excuse my language.
Oh, you're fine. It's happy hour.
They just want obedient citizens, and if they can't get them, they will create transhumanism and then robots and kill all you motherfuckers off because they see you as a virus. They already think the world is overpopulated. So we're just viruses to them. So they'd rather have very few people on Earth who cannot control, who cannot resist their control, their totalitarian control. All right. It's like a regime. Let me tell you something, right? They criticize Hitler, Stalin, all of these dictators, but they're no different. They are no different from Hitler. They're the same philosophies in America, okay? The division, convincing the nation that one set of people is bad and this set of people is good. That's the same thing as the Hitler philosophy. It's happening all over again. So I'm not surprised video games are taking the flack. I'm not surprised because they need to distract. It's called diversion. They're diverting your attention away.
Yeah, can't argue that. I'm saying anybody in the chat, they're just they're going through it in the chat as far as I personally don't think I agree with everybody. I think like J-Dub said, it's a distraction to get you, because I watched some of those young folks and they were on there was a town hall and they ripped the congressman or the senator. They ripped the NRA lady. I mean, it was ripped.
Oh, she's evil.
It was
she's evil.
Yeah. It was like that
evil.
guy last night. Yeah, on the multiplayer podcast. It was just ripping through that podcast like friggin' the guy on Lord of the Rings. Was it Soren with that big sword he had at the beginning of the Lord of the Rings movie? He just blasting people. But yeah, I can't argue with that. I do think it's a diversion. And again, I remember this, and somebody did say they blamed comic books in the 50s and 60s for violence that teenagers were doing. At which, that's right. It's a good point. I can't remember who said that in the chat, but I do remember that because they were saying, well, these kids that are reading comic books are all delinquents. They're staying home from school, blah, 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 blah. So
yeah, it was like they said that. It had nothing to do with John Wayne and shooting down the Indians, and it had nothing to do with all the westerns on TV. It had nothing to do with the whole gun violent culture that started since the beginning. So they're gonna try to go ahead.
You know what? When did video games really become popular medium? Let's say like late 70s, right?
The late 70s.
Right. People were shooting people and killing people throughout history. Since guns were created, people have been killing people. No video games existed. No movies existed in that form. You couldn't rent a movie and see someone's head get chopped off. That wasn't happening. Most people couldn't even afford to go to movie theaters. There weren't even TVs available to most people, and probably not even invented yet. People have been killing people since the dawn of time. If it wasn't a gun, it was with a rock or a stone. So I don't know what the hell, you know. At the end of the day, people need educating, right? I'm for banning guns totally. I know a lot of people won't agree because I know America was built on whiskey and guns. I know that. I know the history of America, right? I know. But at the end of the day, what purpose does it serve to have a gun? What purpose?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can have them to hunt. I know J-Dub lives down in Texas.
Why are you hunting? Why are you taking the life? Why are you? I'm against hunting too. Why are you hunting? Is it so manly to hunt?
Boar. They have wild boar in Texas, and I prefer.
Wild boar has a right to exist, though. But that wild boar has as much right to exist on this earth as you do.
I don't disagree. Yeah, but yeah, I think hunting is okay. I mean, most of the people I know that are NRA members, they want better checks, you know, and things like that. But I agree. I think it's a diversionary tactic. It's just like that movie. They remade that movie. I don't know if you all seen previews for this here in the States. Jada, maybe A Death Wish. It's got Bruce Willis in it. I mean, the commercial shows him dropping a jack on somebody and the car falling off.
Oh, wait, didn't Donald Trump say at one of his rallies, I could go out in the street and shoot anyone and I'd probably get away with it?
Yeah, he said that. Yep.
Right, so now he wants to talk about video games are the cause of gun violence. Gun violence came right out of his mouth when he was running for president of the United States of America. This man is the biggest embarrassment to any country, let alone America. This man is only Trump because his father, right, Fred Trump, left him a shitload of money. If it weren't for inheriting money, he'd be a nobody. Do you understand me? You wouldn't even know the name Trump. All your cities would not be ruined with his terrible architecture. Do you understand? So this Trump character is a moronic fool. He can't even string a sentence. I've heard 5-year-olds speak more eloquently than Donald Trump. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, don't feel bad. It's a lot of that going around. But we'll go ahead and move back into gaming. I want to talk about God of War 4. Because I'll come to you on this one, Kratos, as you are the immortal one here. They are saying, I read an article today, and I did leave a link in the description here about I don't know if it's true, maybe Games Radar. Yeah, Games Radar with God of War is saying it's got a different combat mode now, and the combat mode is going to be off of FIFA. Like I don't know if you've played FIFA or what do you think that means in terms of the big and there's going to be nothing called an orb. Now, mind you, I've never played a God of War game. So first of all, what's an orb? And then what do you think this means as far as FIFA style maneuverability and stuff like that?
Okay, so this is what I think, right? I think that this game is a combination of new gameplay, new art, new style, but there are scenes that will take you into a different view that will, basically like the previous God of Wars, right? When you're fighting hundreds of guys, in the last God of War, you fight hundreds of people on the screen at a time. You just slicing and dicing. Well, you can't play that in the third-person perspective. You can't fit enough people on the screen. So I think you're going to trigger a rage mode or something that will take you into that perspective that will allow you to do your combat, and it'll basically bring you back to how the last generation God of Wars was. So I think they're making the game for the new generation, but they're going to have some of the scenes and some of the combat of the old generation. So that way they can satisfy everybody.
My bad. I didn't realize I muted myself. All right. So, all right. Well, that actually sounds pretty good. Now, how big of a change is it, though? I guess from the other one, is it a total? Is it a 360 or not 300? Is it a 180? Or is it just?
I don't know. I have not seen anything about this. So this is something that they're keeping totally to themselves.
Oh, all right. Well, all righty. Well, Fatal, what do you think about it, brother? First of all, do you have a PlayStation? Do you plan on picking up God of War? If you think it'd be something you skip?
No, I'm definitely copping God of War for sure. Just not sure if it's gonna be day one though. I'll have to wait and see how things work out there. But this news is new to me. This is the first time hearing about this, and if what Jay is saying, that it's going to be, it's that feature's there to please both, like the new and the old. I think that's a genius concept. I think, because that's going to keep those people that have been playing the series since day one, since the PS2 era. They're going to be like, oh wow, this is awesome. This is like a throwback. You know what I mean, for like this new type of God of War story-driven game. So yeah, I mean, if this is true, hey, I'm all for it.
Hurrah! Yeah, again, I don't know what to expect now. JL, did you touch on the orbs? Like, did the orbs, because they're not going to be any. So what do the orbs or what?
Those are the souls. So when you kill the enemy, those orbs are floating and it basically comes to you. That's just replenish your energy. So I mean, I don't know, because what they've shown us so far, right, kind of reminds you of an Uncharted style or The Last of Us type gameplay. But obviously, if what the article says is true, it's going to take the best of both worlds and it's going to switch it into that 3D type view that'll allow you to, pick up the guys, rip their bodies apart, do all kind of crazy stuff that we did, with part 3 in the previous one. So I can't wait. I mean, I haven't seen this. So, I mean, they have showed zero gameplay of this happening. I do know that they talked about there's not a traditional jump button, but obviously you'll be able to jump and jump over things and stuff like that. They just hadn't. We just have not seen what the rest of this game about, and maybe that's a good thing, right? They don't want to show too much.
Yeah, well, let me ask you about the jump button. We saw at E3, I guess it would be 2016 when they unveiled it. He was scaling like a rock, some rocks, wasn't he, with his son on his back? Was that 16 or was that last year?
Yeah,
so
there's E3 2016.
Okay, so he has to be able to jump. If you're going to scale, you just can't. You got to jump. So
but you know how it is. The gameplay is just different, and people can't cope with different.
Right. Yeah, people don't like change. That's obvious. Yeah. Fox, what do you think? I don't know. Have you played any of the FIFA games and won? And what do you think about this change possibly with the orb system? Like J-Dub said, it was health, and I guess this time it's gone. You may have to do something traditional, or what do you think?
We're talking about God of War, yeah?
Yes, correct.
Oh, I'm not worried at all. Whatever they deliver, I'm going to be happy with. I've never played a bad God of War game on any of Sony's systems. I'm not really concerned, honestly. And I don't really recall there being a jump button anyway in God of War. Was there ever a jump button? I don't remember using jump buttons in God of War.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I'm a noob to it. I never got around.
No,
well, God of War.
I can't remember jumping. Okay. Normally, you interact with the environment naturally. Like if you walk up to a ladder, he just climbs up it.
Yeah, there was a jump button. So you hit the jump button and you could hold it to get your wings to fly across different places.
Oh yeah, that. But I'm talking about a regular jump button, like jumping over obstacles, like a platforming. No, it never had that, did it?
No.
I remember floating with wings though. I remember that. That was God of War 3 and stuff, where like you can control how fast he's going with the it's kind of a jump button for in the air, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
I could have sworn God of War 3 had you can just press the X button and you jump.
I don't remember why you'd need to jump, because it was never anything you had to. It wasn't like a platform, was it?
I mean, like for jumping up and hitting like the more higher and like the flying enemies and stuff like that. I do remember that being there, and that wasn't like a quick time event.
But wasn't it a jump with wings?
Yeah.
You had to hold it out, for going
and then float onto the next platform. That kind of jumping.
Yeah, those ones there. Yeah, like if you hold down.
I'm thinking more jump where you can just walk and jump. I don't remember that happening. I remember you can float with wings, but most of the time you were on the ground just doing combos, weren't you?
Most part, yeah, but there were also enemies during combat situations that also had the ability that you can jump anytime you wanted to.
Did you have to earn that?
No.
Like, was it Did you have the wings from the beginning of the game?
Yeah, you had for God of War 3, yeah, you had the wings right at the very beginning of the
That
game.
shows you how long I haven't played that. I haven't played that since PS3, so it just didn't stick out to me that it had a jump button. But if you say it did, then I'm obviously going to agree with people in the chat. By the way, shout out to the chat. And just quickly to answer Garuda Legends, yeah, about the whole hunting thing. No, I don't eat meat, so I'm not a hypocrite. But thanks for asking.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, I just know a friend of mine, he lives in a rural part of Texas, and they got a boar problem. And I said, why don't you go out there with a knife and be a man like your ancestors hunted? You know, just joking with him. But yeah, all jokes aside, yeah, that's I mean, I certainly hope they can have common sense law. I'm pro Second Amendment, but I think at some point you have to look at an AR-15 and be like, there's really no need for this to be be so. But that's my opinion. It's just my opinion. I'm not going to push my opinion on nobody.
Wow.
But we'll move on.
So can I just say, what's wrong with the people in the chat? I can remember if it had a jump button, and people are saying this dude's never played God of. What's wrong with this? Is why
probably me. No, I've never played God of War before.
No, this is why. This is why I probably don't use the I shouldn't really use the chat. Actually, I'm gonna come out of it. This is why I don't really.
Yeah, like I've never had I never played God of War because I think it came out I had already traded my PS2 in for the OG Xbox, and I was playing like Knights of the Old Republic and stuff like that. I think. But when I saw my friend playing it, I'm like, well, it looks colorful, and that guy's obviously got anger issues. But it just looked like, yeah, they were swinging at stuff, and I mean, it looked fun. But I was playing Knights of the Old Republic, and I still think to this day that's one of the better games that have come out, for gaming. Nothing against, but God of War is I mean, it's lasted I guess going into its third generation. So you got to give props to that. Just like I say about Halo. Halo's in its third or fourth generation. So even if you don't like Halo, yeah, but even if we don't like Halo, I give it props, because it's lasted for a long time, so, but yeah.
I remember fighting Hercules, man. Hercules had a helmet on, and he had these like gloves. They were like made out of metal or something. And he rushed to punch you. And like you're in a kind of arena, and then you had Medusa, the Medusa. So everything you loved about Clash of the Titans was encompassed in the God of War games. Clash of the Titans movie. Not the one they made in 2010. I'm talking about the 1980s one, the proper one.
Oh, yeah. That one in 2010 was garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Can't beat Harry Hamlin one, the original LA Law guy. I think it was him.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why
that's going back. Fox went digging in the crates on that one.
That was like casket shit in it, like a buried.
That's why I'm excited for Titan Quest to drop next month for console wise.
Okay.
What's that game? Titan Quest
20th anniversary edition. A game that's been on PC for I forget, back in like the early 2000s when it came out.
What is it, like a God of War game?
Style game? It's a Diablo style game, but it all takes place in like Greek mythology and shit.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah. I love Greek mythology.
Then you'll definitely like this game a lot. I mean, outside, you can stomach the fact that it's an older game that was originally on PC. That's coming to consoles now, because they recently came out with an update on the Steam version of it recently. But I'm glad that game's dropping next month, man. I'm really looking forward to playing that because I played it before, and that game is phenomenal for a Diablo style kind of game.
Is it a remaster or is it just a straight port? Do you know?
It's a remaster, upscaled graphics and and better online co-op and more classes to choose from, and I think all the expansions are there except for the very last one that came out this year or last
Speaking
year.
of Diablo, there's rumors that may be coming to Switch. I don't know if it's true, but
I heard that too. Yeah,
I think that'll be a great fit for the portable side of it.
Agreed.
Because it's one of those games like you can jump into and jump out of. It's not like you have to sit in it like The Witcher 3. Because it's portable, you can just put it in what's that mode where when you load it up again you don't have to wait? Is it sleep mode? Yeah, sleep mode.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nah, yeah, Ian Robinson. He says past cure looks awesome. Shout out, I think Randall Thor. Shout out to Randall Thor, the man with a million. I think he did a review on past cure. I think he's got it up. So Ian, if you want to go check that out, just to get
Didn't look positive though, did it? Unless he's trolling in the title. From what I read, I didn't feel anything positive from the title of the review. It said something about the name of the title, and then at the end there was a word. I can't remember what the word was, but it wasn't positive. So I thought he doesn't like the game. But then some people put that in there, and there's a question mark that you can't see because when you see on YouTube, you have to actually enter the video to see the rest of the text.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Well, let me move on to some Spider-Man PS4 because a friend of mine. He's in the comic books heavily, way more than gaming. And he had sent me a message today that they think a possible late June release. If not, they'll push this game back to the fall, and to go up against the infamous Red Dead 2 to be released in that same month. And then they'll just say you can get both. You get Spider-Man, and they'll be the only console you can get both games. But my question is that Miles Morales is allegedly supposed to be a playable character, allegedly. So, does that? I don't know. That's another Spider-Man for you guys that who follow Spider-Man. So let me ask you all: do you all think this is a good idea, or do you think they should just stick with Peter Parker? And because Miles has his own skill set.
No, we need diversity.
Okay.
Let's have him in there. And bring Spider-Woman in there as well while they're at it. Let's have a feminism as well. Mix it all up. Let's create some discourse.
Yeah. Well, no, that's fine. And also, I think they've added dynamic weather for all y'all who don't know, which in theory should now change the way the game reacts to you physically. So we'll have to wait and see. But what do you all think?
I don't believe it's going to go up against any Red Dead Redemption or whatever game in the fall. I don't think Sony has to do that. That's like suicide anyway. That's like what Microsoft did with Rise of the Tomb Raider, timed exclusivity going up against Fallout 4. So I don't believe that for one bit. Spider-Man will drop whenever Sony decide to release it. I think it's a strong enough brand on its own anyway, so that they can release that pretty much in any month and it will sell bucket loads.
Yeah, those Call of Duty, shout out to him. He says Spider-Man petition is strong. What's the petition for?
Who's it for? What, Xbox?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just says petition is strong. So I don't know if it's for PC or Xbox.
No, it must be for Xbox because I don't know if PC gamers, do they care that much about Spider-Man?
He's the most popular superhero in the world as far as sales.
But in terms of Spider-Man releases, have those games historically done well on the PC? Because I don't ever hear PC people talking about Spider-Man games.
Yeah, now that I don't know. I do not know. Jay, what do you think about this? It could be. It wouldn't surprise me because I've said before, if you don't think that the Xbox community wants to play Spider-Man, Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, MLB The Show, what else am I missing? Just a bunch of these games that are coming out, the Spider-Man, Spider-Man and stuff like that. You're nuts. They want to play them too. They just don't want to. They don't have access, so they're bitching and moaning. Okay?
That's why it's good to be a multi-console owner.
Yeah, that's why. Shout out to Fatal. He said that yesterday. Yeah, they think that's bad. So, but J-Dub, what do you think about the Spider-Man game? One, do you plan on purchasing it? And do you think having Miles as a playable character, if that's true, let me make that clear. Question mark. Do you think that's a good thing? And what kind of change do you think he could bring to the game?
Well, I mean, that's a day one for me. I mean, that's a system seller, especially if they do a theme console. I mean, that's a wrap. That thing is going to sell like hotcakes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But having Miles Morales, I mean, obviously, I agree with Fox. It doesn't matter. I want them to have all of them. I mean, have Peter Parker, Miles, Zendaya, and the rest of them. Just put them all in there. So I think it's going to be. I think this Spider-Man is going to be more story based, in the kind of theme of Uncharted and The Last of Us, I think it's gonna be a long game. So I think we're gonna get a lot of story out of it.
Yeah. Beto, what do you think, brother?
What game? Days Gone?
Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man. Oh,
Yeah.
Spider-Man. My bad. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm getting that. You kidding me? Dude? When was the last time a damn good Spider-Man game came out? The last one I played was Spider-Man 2 on GameCube, dude. So hell yeah, I'm copping that bitch.
I'm excited if it has dynamic weather for the swinging, because in theory, if it's raining and it's thundering and it's windy, the way he swings should change in theory. But I'd have to wait and see if that happens, you know. But I know people have said, well, haven't you seen the scenes where it'll be daylight sometimes and then it'll be at dusk or something like that? I'm like, well, that's fine, but I would like to see it rain or something like that, because that changes everything, you know. Like J-Dub said about playing Gran Turismo, you would have to drive differently in the rain, wouldn't you? You just couldn't put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
But visually, it's pushing the hardware to its absolute limits. I don't know if introducing dynamic weather might affect the frame rate. I don't know. Maybe that's a design choice they made. It may be that because it's story based and it's narrative based, it could be that, you know, there's a cutscene in between levels, and then you're in the night, and then there's a cutscene, and then you're in, like, you know.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if dynamic weather would work with Spider-Man, given that it's really pushing the hardware from a visual standpoint. And there's a lot of physics in that game as well. I mean, we've all seen the gameplay, right? There's a lot of dynamic ways that you can fight. There's a lot of physics involved, lots of animation. I don't know if introducing environmental effects like, you know, weather, real time, I don't know what that would do to the engine. So it might be that they're having to make design choices around the hardware limitations, because let's face it, this is the 5th year of PS4.
Correct. Yeah. Well, let me ask you, well, J-Dub, I actually do have a computer. I have a tech question for you, brother. Could the Pro, in theory, do 1440p 60 and then have cutscenes rendered in 4K native? Is it powerful enough to do that based on what it's got inside of it? Or because this is something that Kojima did with this to go back to the PS3 with Metal Gear. I believe that was 720p, Guns of the Patriots, but the cutscenes were all like 1080p or maybe 900. It was something like that. So just based on what you know about what's inside the Pro, could it do a 1440p 60 game and then a cutscene be 4K? You know,
it's powerful enough to do that. It's the bigger question is that what the developer want to do? Is that the art style and is that the animation system that's set to do that? It's you know, it's not as easy as just flipping a switch and saying here's 60, here's 30. You have to draw your animation for that, right? So it's kind of like movies. You know, sometimes they have movies. Most movies are 24 frames, and other movies like the Lord of the Rings, they try with 48 frames. It just depends on the nature of what they're trying to do. So the Pro can run it, especially if they decide to do a checkerboarding technique, which obviously they've been using on a lot of the high-end games such as Horizon Zero Dawn and Uncharted and stuff like that. So I don't see why they couldn't do it. But I'm a firm believer in, if you are designing the game, take the Order 1886, right? Take that game. It's a beautiful game visually. I'm not talking about how the gameplay is, but the game itself is a beautiful game. The director, the producer of that game, decided to make it with those bars, right? With the cinematic bars. So you have the black bars at the top. He could have easily made it full screen, but that did not fit the narrative of how he wanted to tell the story. He wanted to tell the story in a movie fashion. Therefore, he chose those bars. So, you know, I don't want to, even in the future, right? Even next generation and generation after that, we just can't guarantee everything is going to be 60 frames just because the system can do it. A, a lot of my videos that I shoot, my personal videos that I shoot, depending on what I'm doing, if my kids are at the park and they're playing soccer, then I'll shoot it at 60 frames. But if I'm trying to have a more cinematic style, I'll shoot it in 24 frames. So it just depends on the look that you're looking for.
That you're looking for. All right. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's good answering right there. That's one reason why J-Dub's here. And because we rubbed the toxicity off of him, he got the official dunk in the Messiah pool of non-toxicity.
You've absolved me from my sins, so I'm good.
Yes. Yeah. How dare you help? How dare you help people enjoy gaming? You know.
Yeah. You save me from the toxic Avengers.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. That's a beautiful analogy, sir. That is a beautiful analogy, man.
I'm cracking up here.
Oh, well, speaking of the toxic Avengers, Phil Spencer had a keynote, I believe, at DICE. I believe that's where it was. And we talked about the gaming toxicity. I know that's been pounded into the ground. I want to go to you first here, Fox. First of all, did you see the keynote? And if you did, what do you think Microsoft's future is going to be? This is not a bash. We're just based on what Phil Spencer is saying and based on kind of the apparatus they have put in place. What do you think they may be trying to do here?
Well, first of all, I did watch the DICE Summit. I did watch his opening speech. I thought it was a powerful speech. It was thoughtful, endearing, reaching out to minorities, and I don't believe in, actually, first of all, I don't believe in the word minority, because when you count the number of people, depends who you're talking about in terms of minority. You understand?
Yeah.
If you're talking about people's
that's true
gender choices, maybe that's a minority, but in terms of people of color, they're certainly not a minority if you look at the world. Okay, so but let's just say minorities, just for people's understanding and context. I loved that he was talking about inclusiveness, making the development environment friendly and welcoming, bringing more people from different cultures and backgrounds in. That is because gaming needs fresh ideas. Otherwise, it's going to become stagnant and stale. You need people from all over the world injecting creativity from their own experiences and culture into video games, because video games isn't for one set of people. Video games is universally for all. And as you know, the last time I looked, there was many cultures on this planet and different viewpoints and perspectives all over this world. So we need that in video games. That can only be a good thing for video games. Okay. Problem with Phil Spencer I have, though I think it was a great speech, I don't know how much of it is smoke and mirrors. I don't, the whole talk about Microsoft, we needed a reboot and all that stuff. Yeah, obviously, and good job with Xbox One X. Everything, you seem to have the ship sailing in the right direction again. Let's see what comes of it with these games that they've got in the pipeline. But let's remember, okay, although I like the speech and I did praise Phil Spencer on Twitter and in one of my videos about the speech, you can never know a man or a woman sincerity or their intention, because for all I know, that could be a rehearsed speech. You could have been reading it, some of it off teleprompters. I don't know if it's coming from his heart. I don't know the intention. So I just have to give him the benefit of the doubt. And, and I commend the speech. But, Phil Spencer said many things before that didn't quite match what he said, in terms of action, right? So let's see where it goes. But I certainly hope that he meant every word and all of that stuff is going to be implemented into Microsoft. Because if they do implement that stuff, then that company is going to be massively more appealing. And that can only be good for the Xbox brand and whatever creative is spawned. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah. Seems they're going in the right direction, but let's have some optimism. But yeah, at the same time, let's not be naive either. That's all I've got to say on that.
Yeah, well, very, very elegant, very nice said. Yeah, that's nice. Fatal, you want to go ahead and chime in? I know we talked about this a little bit yesterday.
Yes, sir.
You just want to, you just want to go ahead and for the people who didn't listen yesterday, Fatal dropped some knowledge here, and is a new owner of an Xbox. Yours it's still a baby, right? It's still less than 100 days.
I'm still treating it as a baby right now. So
yeah.
But
so, what do you think? But real quick, what did you think about what he said as far as the future of where they're going?
I mean, despite all the stuff that you talked about as far as making the environment in the industry like more, healthier, and you know what I mean, and putting more trust in developers and even within the own company itself, that I agree with all that stuff. So I agree with what he said there. As far as the future of Xbox goes, I mean, Phil Spencer is fully aware of all the toxicity that goes on as far as stuff that gets thrown at him almost virtually like every hour of every day on Twitter, and the criticism that people have been giving Microsoft for over the last 4 years, and whatever you want to call it. So I know that that's definitely got to be stressful for him, but at the same time, despite that, he needs to do something about that. And I think a couple things that he pointed out in that speech, though, too, as well, that stood out to me the most, though, was the fact that like when he was sitting there showing off, praising Uncharted and Zelda and other games from like, even on the competitor side, that's something that we should all be doing. You know what I mean? Like, It doesn't matter. Like, why choose a side? It's basically what I'm basically getting from that, from a few little things that he said in that speech. But despite that, I think, as far as like this generation, they know they really can't do a whole lot outside from at least delivering on a few things. But as far as like the actual reign of games that everybody wants, I think we'll see something like that maybe. And I'm not going to use that term because that term is going around about E3, so I'm not going to say that. But I think next gen. I think next gen is when Microsoft's fully going to pull their head out of their butts and actually start making a name for themselves again, man. Hopefully. But I mean, I agree with Foxhole. You have to kind of be optimistic when you're looking at things when it comes to Phil Spencer, because he has quoted a lot of things before in the past, ever since he became head honcho, and a lot of things that he said never fully came into fruition. So we'll see how it goes. Only time could tell.
But we hope. And one other thing, just to piggyback on what you just said, right? Mm-hmm. The whole thing about girls online being treated poorly and terribly by, obnoxious people, and people of color being disrespected for being people of color, for nothing more than just being something they didn't choose. You were born, you're born how you're born. You don't get to choose whether you want to be male, female, white, brown, whatever color, right? Mm-hmm. We're all human beings at the end of the day. And we love the same hobby, which is gaming, right? For some people, it's not even a hobby; it's a way of life. For me, it's a way of life. But for others, it may be a hobby. Right. Okay, so I agree with that. But he needs to be realistic, Phil Spencer. That shit is never going away. A douche is a douche. Is a douche. Is a douche. Is a douche. There will always be douchebags. That's not going away. So he needs to be realistic and don't focus on that nonsense. The best thing we can all do to eradicate that bullshit is to completely ignore it. Because those people feed off of attention. If you don't give it to them, their act slowly dies. No one bought a ticket to see that movie, so let's ignore them.
I agree.
With that, J-Dub, what do you think? I know now. This, to be fair, J-Dub tried to answer this question last night. But when he was on that multiplayer podcast, shout out to J-Dub being a panelist on there, they had another guest on there who was pretty much like Darth Vader going down that hallway in Rogue One, just ripping through the Rebel Alliance, and those guys are on there screaming, help us, But J-Dub, what do you think about what he said? And then what do you think, again, based on what Microsoft has got out as far as the apparatus, is what do you think they plan on doing, whether it be later this generation, because they just released another console, it's about 110 days old, give or take, and then so go on, brother. Do you think they're going to make another console this gen? And then also, if you can expand on what he said as far as what do you think, him being up on stage with Uncharted behind him. Somebody took a big shout out to Porter Rock 77. He took a screenshot, or so I don't know how he was able to do that, and like saying thanks, Phil. But go ahead, brother. I've rambled. I'm trying to get Ryan the professional in here, so go ahead, brother.
Well, okay, so I'll tell you this, right? I said yesterday, his speech that he gave about you know, not necessarily the gaming portion, but the atmosphere, creating an atmosphere within his own company, and pushing diversity and not being afraid to break the mold. I say that's the first time this generation that I've really had respect for Phil Spencer and what he was saying. I think he was sincere in what he said, and I think they're going to be trying things different. He even brought up the CEO, Satya Nadella. I mean, for a company that has been ran by a bunch of white guys for the ever since his birth, these guys reached out and they decided to hire a Indian to run their corporation. So that shows that they're actively trying to do different things and trying to break that mold where a bunch of corporations have yet to put anyone of color or maybe a female or anything like that on their top board, on their top, on their top rank. So I do believe him when he said that, and I wish them I wish them the best, and I think that's great. I think most companies are doing that now. You have Apple, you have Google, eBay, and all these other companies like Amazon. They're starting to do that because so the stats speak for themselves. It shows the more diverse a company is, the better it is for everybody, even in gaming. This past year has shown us nothing but games where you had female leads in them. And I call 2017 the year of the women because, I mean, look at the Uncharted, Lara Croft and Hellblade, the lady from Hellblade. You had, Gravity Rush. I mean, you just had a lot of positivity, and we've never kind of had that before in gaming. And I'm glad we're trying different things, right? You can't hurt you can't hurt by trying. So I think he's sincere with that, and shout out to him. And like I said, I respect him highly for that. Now on the gaming front, it's a different story because he said things before, and every time he says something, the opposite happens, right? Our games will never go to PC, and they end up on the PC. No, our games are not going to do this, and they end up that. No, I didn't cancel this, and now it's So you have to take that for a grain of salt. But I think right now, it's 2018. It's time for him to put up or shut up. And E3 is coming, and all the spotlight is his. It's all on him. It's all on no more Don Matrix blaming. It's no longer 2013. It's 2018.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting when he was saying that they had planned from the jump to make another Xbox. I think that's what I'm inferring that from when he said he was trying to build trust up with the team. So he said I shared something with them that that didn't leak. And I'm pretty sure what he shared with them was the Xbox, the new Xbox, more powerful stuff like that. But let's get to the big fish in this chat. And what everybody's wanting to know is the big Xbox news. So I've got it queued up here, and I'm going to make a warped attempt to screen share because it's 50-50, guys. It either goes real well or it doesn't work at all. But this is something huge for this weekend only, for tomorrow only. I don't know if it's worldwide, but big shout out to Microsoft. I can't believe they're doing this. Sony can't match what I'm about to put up on the screen. They might as well just hang it up. Ryan, you're here just in time for the big announcement of what Xbox is doing tomorrow. It's going to change gaming. Okay, it will change the way we play, and I'm going to screen share. Free consoles? So no, there we go. I don't know if I'm sharing that on the screen. GameStop tomorrow has a huge deal on the Xbox One X.
Oh God!
And other Xbox.
God damn it, Craig!
What? This is a big deal. You can't deny this, dude.
You're fired. You're fired.
Look at I'm the messiah of Xbox. I have to share this.
I was too. I was like, what is this big review?
Look, it's called. Look at this shot right here to the ponies. Pro Day sale. See, that's a shot right there to the pony. It can't. And look at this deal. Now it says this is the big catch is that you have to be a pro or elite pro. Remember, see, they taking a shot. Lord. They are taking a shot. I'm here to let these ponies know Microsoft ain't playing. They ain't half stepping. They coming with those hands now. So look, if you're in the market for an Xbox X and you need to get an Xbox in order, like I said, in order to get Game Pass, you can't get Game Pass on an Xbox. Look, you can get an Xbox with something called a PUBG and an extra controller for $500. Sony can't mess with
revolutionary.
Yeah, well, Sony can't mess with this, Ryan. Well, they're kind of going to come at PUBG. Even though PUBG...
4K.
I know. And look at this. The new Xbox One S consoles are marked down by $50. So you can go out, I guess, next week, or is it next 2 weeks? So Thor Ragnarok comes out.
You have to be a member of this. You have to be a member of their program to get that $50 off, though.
That's fine. That's the shot at the ponies, though, Fox. You have to be a pro member.
Yeah,
you can be the base.
Oh, I get it. Okay, all right, yeah.
I mean,
Kratos and Mephisto. Quiet. What's up with that? What's up, brothers? I ain't talking to y'all.
Oh, I'm just keeping my mic muted when people are talking.
No, there we go.
So I mean, first things first, do you look at this? Okay, now of course, Sony got to retaliate. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim PSVR bundle was going for is $350 instead of $450, and that's good. And then something called the Vive is down to $500. Man, how much is the Vive? If it's down to $500? So, but look at these sales here. Look, they can't match these sales, folks. Look at that. Call of dollars, FIFA for $30.
Wait, is this the big Xbox news?
Yeah, that's the big Xbox.
Is that how dry it is over there? That this is the big Xbox news.
Yeah, this is huge. No, this is huge news. This is a big sale.
Wow.
Look people,
I'm going back to my cave, man.
Right?
Shit.
Right?
I don't need no broadband in my cave.
I just hit the game up there. $10. Why not? But shit, this shit.
Yeah. No, look, you get a free copy of PUBG.
$50 isn't a great deal off anyway. I mean, at the end of the day, I swear in the UK you can get the Xbox One X for like $400, $410. I swear I've seen it for that price.
With an extra controller.
Now, question: are they selling it as a console, or are they selling it as a controller?
Does it come with an extra controller?
It does. Hey, y'all remember?
Fucking A, Craig.
Okay, look. What can
$100 off is $100 off would be news, not $50.
Well, it is $100. Well, technically, look, if it's $500, you get PUBG, which I don't know what that retails for, but God, it's running 20
$40. Well, $30. 40 for me.
Wait, and you get an extra controller as well. It says.
Yeah. So see, is that not a good deal? That is worthy.
That's like $100 off, isn't it?
That's good news.
All right, let me write. I'm gonna write a check right now. Who should I write out to?
Yeah.
This has made me an impulse buyer.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to help out.
Spider-Man.
I'm helping the chat. I'm helping the Xbox community because a lot of people they don't know about this sale.
No, but you know what though? Xbox isn't doing as bad as we think it is. Do you know MP in January? There was only 3% difference, a marginal difference between all the console sales. And the fact that Xbox came third place, that means it sold pretty much on par with the other systems in January. So,
Now, so let me ask you this, and J-Dub, because you met the man himself. You sat down and had a couple drinks with him. Don't you think they should be tweeting this out that they came in second place? The same way Microsoft did when they came in second place.
I don't know what that was about.
According to Aaron Greenberg, PS4 Pro won January's MPD.
Oh, well.
Because
did you tweet that?
If we're talking about 8th and 9th gen consoles like he did for December's MPD back in 2017, then just by the fact that PS4 coming second means it won, right? By Aaron Greenberg's logic.
Yeah,
we're just going by his logic.
Pretty much. But you know what? When you've won the last 5 years straight of MPD, it doesn't really even matter to you anymore. That's why Sony don't even balk if they win or not. It doesn't really matter at this point.
Yep.
These guys are so far ahead. They're working on next generation. This generation. To tell you the truth, this generation was over the first in 2014. It was over. We've been the only ones that's been kind of keeping it going, extending it, having fun with it. But the numbers, it
Jack
is what
Tretton
it is.
killed the Xbox by himself.
I think PlayStation should team up with French Montana. You know why? They should do a remix. So they ain't worry about nothing. They ain't worry about nothing. Sony ain't worry about nothing.
Well, I mean, you can see here how the ponies are. They're trying to do something called Crash Bandicoot for $25. They can't stop the juggernaut of PUBG. I mean, that game's running like 8 frames per second.
Listen, I'll tell you guys this: Game Pass is about to go through the roof because Sea of Thieves is about to drop.
Yep.
And then after that, you're gonna have State of Decay, and then eventually Crackdown. And I mean, you got to realize that then when you have deals like that on the X, it's gonna start to look more enticing, right? Like it wasn't enticing before because it was a while before the game started to drop. But now we got the games about to start coming. People are gonna start, taking notice. So that's good. That obviously it's good that Nintendo, it shows that the naysayers is wrong. It's not about power; it's about games. But at the same time, Microsoft is able to hang in there and stick so close to PlayStation and Nintendo without having any major exclusives coming or anything like that. So I think once Sea of Thieves drop, I think they'll have an opportunity to probably pull it off and win the NPD.
You know what the worry is? You know what my concern is? Because all of their games now are going on Game Pass. Are they going to measure the game's success by active players instead of sales? Because
of course, Fox, of course.
They're going to start saying that this game's got the biggest used player base. They're going to start boasting, and it doesn't mean the boast means nothing because it's a $10, less than a $10 subscription to Netflix for video games.
Fox,
pretty much.
The success. This is what you guys don't get. The success for Microsoft is what they say it is. So they can go from MPD sales to user engagements to Game Pass numbers to
like playtime.
how many bullets have been shot, how many, they can do that because at their
stretch.
That's just kind of what they've always done.
Armstrong. It's like Jack Reacher.
Oh boy.
Jack Reacher. Xbox is more successful. 100 million zombies' heads have been blown off. Jack Reacher X Edition.
Which is okay.
That's not bad. That's not bad sounding.
It's only a matter of time it's only a matter of time for this shit branches off into the full service that they want, where it's on PlayStation everywhere else. So
well,
Ryan,
I'm going to be there on Sea of Thieves day one when that beast drops, man. I'm super freaking excited for that game.
What, Sea of Thieves?
Oh, yes, sir.
Because
I can't knock your hustle. I can't knock your hustle. It's not my thing, but I can't knock your hustle.
What you want to say, Trick?
I was going to say, isn't because Microsoft is doing the whole Game Pass thing, isn't it just now? Doesn't Nintendo and Sony have to do the exact same thing? Because how are they going to compete?
No.
If you think about it,
no.
for a console, but this is just a cop out in the sense. This is like a plan B sort of thing. If you look at this, right, Game Pass is getting more hype than anything they got so far. Eventually, it's going to turn into where Microsoft can sell this to all, publishers. So Sony and Nintendo, and have it on their own console if they wish. So they can make more profit this way if they wanted to. Because you think about it, $10, you can play all their exclusives on your PlayStation. Eventually, this was going to happen though. You know what I'm saying? Because they're already merged with PC.
Not for a while, at least.
I wouldn't say not for a while. The way these damn cells, the way this console's been doing.
Well, I mean, Xbox had a rough fucking generation, dude.
We'll
see how things go next gen. I mean,
how much they sold though in lifetime now? Well, I mean, this is the 5th year of Xbox, right?
Lifetime have been estimated, keyword estimated, to be close to 35 million. So, they sold more than the OG Xbox, original. They sold more than that. They have not outsold the 360, but they have sold 35 mil, supposedly.
Yeah, Yeah,
So
they're just
35 million
having-
supposedly compared to PlayStation, which is beyond 75 at this point, right? It's like past 75. That right there, I mean, it's not, you know what I'm saying? When you compare it to its competition, PlayStation, that's pretty bad. You know what I'm saying? It's not a, you're not gonna get no comeback anytime soon with those sales numbers. So
It's like between Dreamcast, Sega Dreamcast, and N64 numbers for Microsoft's Xbox One, right?
pretty much.
basically, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, Microsoft's just having a mediocre generation. I mean, look at the Wii U. We all know what happened there. That
They started off so well, though.
that's the thing, though. But I mean, but like as far as like the way people were treating that system, the way people were calling and everything in the books and saying, "Oh, Nintendo needs to go third party" and all this crap. Dude, look what happened with the Switch. No one's saying a fucking word now about that shit.
Honestly, I don't even think it's like they don't. I won't even use that as a comparison. I would say more of a PS3 type of launch thing with the Xbox.
Well, yeah, well, fair enough. We can do it that way too, as well.
Because you think about it, there's no software, and that was the main problem with the PlayStation 3 day one. Like the software took forever.
It did, but like I said, I mean, who knows? I mean, one like terrible. I mean, if people want to count the OG Xbox and them being their first time in the actual console cycle, but I mean, Microsoft's having a shit generation. Get over it. I'm sure they might have. I don't know. They can learn from their mistakes. That's all they got to do. You know what didn't work, and there you go.
Do you really think Microsoft can compete with Sony in the first party catalog?
Well, no, not the first party catalog.
No,
but
I'm saying, like
they can have a better console on the market comes the next generation, though. That's my point. Like it doesn't matter if like they're never gonna outbeat fucking Sony. Are you kidding me? Sony already has that establishment already twofold. But my thing is, as far as way this generation went, they cannot make those same mistakes when it comes to their next gen. I'm pretty sure Microsoft doesn't give a flying fuck to be in first or not. I don't think they care. They never have been in the nor they never will. They've always been that little sandwich man.
They did care.
They did care with the 360.
Phil Spencer verbally said, "I want to win."
Everybody tells me that they didn't win last generation because Sony came out on top at the end of it all.
No, this year, Phil Spencer said, "This generation, I want to win." And then after, when he realized there's no way he can win, they started changing the metrics to user engagement instead of sales numbers.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, but at the end of the day, all they got to do is just learn from their mistakes, fix their mistakes, because all Sony's doing right now is doing the exact same thing Microsoft did last gen, getting all those exclusive deals and first-party exclusive games and whatever you want to call it. That's all Microsoft has to do. Get those deals on paper last gen.
Can I just say something about Game Pass? Something that I thought of the other day. Game Pass is Microsoft saying that software is selling so poorly. Like maybe the average person on Xbox is only buying one game a year, right?
Oh,
think about it. No, think about this. Think about this logic. The average person on Xbox, I'm not talking about the hardcore, I'm talking about the average. So that includes all of the casuals as well. So the average person must only be buying one $60 game a year and living on it like FIFA or something for the whole entire year until the sequel comes out. I'll tell you why. Because if Game Pass is only going to be what? $120 a year, right?
Yeah.
If it's going to be $120 a year, that's two $60 games a year that Microsoft will be getting from the average gamer instead of just them spending $60.
Yep.
Because I had to think, how is it so cheap? Why is Microsoft? Because I have a suspicion that Game Pass is going to be increased. The more people,
there's already rumors about that, bro.
The more people that sign up to it and they get you roped in, they're going to start raising the price. Because I don't see how they can pay third parties and make money on the service if it's only $120 a year. Because that's just 2 games a year.
Yeah.
So they must have been in pretty bad shape to say, right, we'll start this off at $120 a year. Maybe the average gamer over on Xbox was only buying one game per year, like a sports game. Because, you know, you get updates on that. Or maybe they're playing a service-based game or Destiny or something where they can live on that game, GTA 5, for the whole year.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, you know, people might think it's bullshit, but why is it only $120 a year? I think that's incredible value for what they're offering you.
Well, it's up to them to make it that incredible value to install the games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but every first-party game they release henceforth, and all the past titles are going to be on there. That is a whole chunk of money,
but
that they would ordinarily lose if their player base was supporting the games.
That I agree with. But there's also going to be people out there too as well that don't care about services like that. You know what I mean? They'll still go out and buy
People
it.
care about experiences. They care about the deals. It's just, it's up to Microsoft to have the games do,
Well, no, but I'm saying like, no, I'm just talking about like there's people that are like anti-digital, like they'll never, or like they don't care for rental services or any of that crap like that. I mean, yeah, it's a small group, yes, but it still technically counts to an extent. But no, I agree with that with like 100%. I mean, like me, I find Game Pass beneficial for me just because of where I live. But I mean, I'm still going to support the games when they do drop down in price and they do go on sale. Like Sea of Thieves, when that game goes on sale, I'm still going to buy it digitally wise just to show my support.
So you're gonna be selling? Okay.
Fuck yeah, I'm gonna be playing that game religiously, dude. I'm playing that shit religiously. I'm so fucking pumped for that game, dude.
Can I ask you a question? Why is it us that have to support them? We're the consumer. They're to entice us with the product. Exactly. They're to make quality products so that we feel compelled to buy the game. Why are we supporting them? Like, it's not just you. I hear a lot of channels on YouTube say, I already own the game on PS4, but I'm gonna support it on Nintendo Switch, or I'm gonna support it on this platform as well.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Like, they're buying 2 copies of the game for absolutely no reason, all but to line these corporate companies' money, line them with money, their pockets with money. I'm thinking, isn't it the companies that are supposed to entice us with excellent products so that we feel compelled as consumers to buy it? Why is it us prepping? Why are we propping them up?
I think to be honest, let me say this real quick. To be honest, Fox, the only reason the Game Pass even came about, the only reason that the games are being like that is because the users did not come out and buy the games the traditional way.
Facts.
All of the games that started this first generation, those games rarely sell, right? Most of them barely broke a million. Yes, you had your Halo, your Gears, and your Forza. But outside of those 3, how many sequels did you get? You got literally none. So that means people did not buy those games, and Microsoft is not going to continue to sink money into something that people aren't buying. So Microsoft is going to keep sinking money into the stuff that works, and that is Halo, Gears, and Forza. And every now and then you're going to get, a few more titles, but they're not going to be the big blockbuster titles that you expect. They tried it with Quantum Break. They tried it with Rise, Son of Rome. They tried it with Sunset Overdrive. The gamers did not come out and support it. And so as a businessman, I'm not going to keep sinking money just for a couple of fanboys. I'm going to sink money into something that works. And this Game Pass gives you all the old games that they didn't make money on the first time. And it's another way to kind of get some more revenue. So it's not like they're, I'm gonna tell you guys now, if you're getting Game Pass and you expect there to be month after month, all these new games coming, all these big games coming to it, you're gonna be sadly mistaken. This is for the older titles, and every now and then they're gonna come out like with the Sea of Thieves, the Crackdown. I'm not saying that those games are bad, but those are not system sellers. Those are good games. They may turn out to be good games, but they're not system sellers.
Yeah,
they're not like Spider-Man or they're not that, they're not like that.
Halo.
The system sellers are your Halo, your Gears, and your Forzas. And this is just where it leads to. If you don't buy games and you don't support them, you lead down this avenue, and that's where Microsoft has been.
Yeah, that's pretty evident to me. It took 2 years for Sunset Overdrive just to reach 1 million. So
yeah, and this is where I stand. I don't support developers. I support quality games. So if you're in the business of making video games, it damn sure better be quality, or you have no right being in the industry. So I'm not buying a game just so a developer releases the game I really want on like say Switch, for instance, right? I notice this a lot. People are buying games that they wouldn't really buy in the hope that the same company gives them a game that they really want. Yeah. I think that's really pathetic. That is really pathetic. Because I tell you why. You will spend money on the hope. There's no indication. It's like gambling. You might as well be a loot box what you're doing. It might as well be a loot box, because there is no guarantee nor inkling that they're going to give you the game that you really want. So you're going to buy a game that you really don't care about to support them, to show them that people will buy games, so they really like. Come on, man. That's
Hey,
like
Foxy, do you expect to see a lot of like indies and like AA type games from Microsoft at E3?
Yes, of course.
what for Microsoft?
For Microsoft, yeah, because I'm not expecting a big amount of AAA games. I really am not. Aside from Gears,
a lot of
and Halo,
multi-platform games to be hyped like they're exclusive. Yeah. Okay,
exactly.
That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting Microsoft to promote multi-platform games like they are their own exclusives. I expect to see tons of indie, which is good. I love indies. I love the AA games. Yeah. Multi-platform games are cool. And Microsoft will have 1 or 2 showcase first-party games that will be, play anywhere initiative, which is okay. I mean, it's no surprise to us, is it? We all know this is Microsoft's direction.
That's true. That is true.
All right,
now,
we're moving on.
Listen.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Great Jones.
Go ahead. I was just going to say this last little thing. This may be the best thing for Microsoft. We can't see it now, right? But maybe it's okay. Nintendo, they carved out their own niche. So they carve out their own lane. And maybe Microsoft is some kind of way carving out their own lane.
Yep. And I said that I'm not sure if it was on your show there, Craig, or somebody else's, but I basically said like Microsoft just wants to break out like Nintendo and do their own thing.
Yeah, which is and there's nothing wrong with that. So let's
well, what are they gonna do like Nintendo?
No, I mean like they're not gonna look at it from a competitive aspect. They're just gonna they just want to do their own shit. Like Nintendo right now is doing their own thing.
We're done.
Yeah, but Nintendo you can look at Nintendo and differentiate it from both Sony and Microsoft because the design is different, it's portable, it's hybrid. They make games that are colorful, imaginative, creative, brilliant level design. And Sony and Microsoft are basically identical. They're like twins. Only one, has the upper hand now, whereas it didn't have it before, like the Xbox One X. Yeah?
I mean, I know a lot of people like keep saying like the whole entire service aspect things that Microsoft is trying to like heavily go into, even though Game Pass right now, aside from Xbox Live, but Xbox Live's been there since day one. I think Game Pass is definitely going to be hopefully turn out to be a big thing for them. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes. And I'm sure, I know, there's supposed to be like a streaming service that Microsoft's supposed to be coming out with sooner down the road, or something like that. Somebody was talking. I think it was you, Ryan, that said that.
Well, yeah, Phil Spencer said that.
Oh,
yeah, he said that they're working on the whole streaming
service. How many things are you going to pay for on the Xbox then? So you're going to pay for EA Access. You're going to pay for Game Pass. You're going to pay for Netflix. You're going to pay for Hulu. You're going to pay for this. You're going to pay for that. I mean, you're going to have a mortgage on that box. You might as well move in.
Game Pass and XBL are the only 2 things I'm paying for. That's it.
I give Phil credit.
Though. He has a lot of stuff to pay. Imagine like if you're a hardcore gamer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine you're gonna want all of those things, or at least 80% of those things. Yeah. When you add up what you're paying, it's like they're squeezing more money than you would have paid for video games.
Oh no, and I agree. Like EA Access, I'm never gonna pay for that at all. Period. Because if I wanted those games that are on the vault, I've already would have bought them the day they came out, or I would have been played them already.
And it's not good to have your eggs. It's not good to have so many eggs in one basket as well, signing up to all these services on one entertainment box. Because when Xbox Live goes down, all of that stuff that you're paying for, no access. So I've got different devices that I watch different things on, so I don't have to rely on Microsoft or PlayStation.
Game Pass doesn't go down if XBL goes down.
Well, of course it does. All services go down. It says
no. Thing is,
because it has to authenticate. Yeah, it does.
No, but on Xbox Live, right, it shows what services are available. Game Pass is going to be part of that service. So when it's all down, you're going to see Game Pass down too.
No, and I'm agreeing with you. I'm talking about from the aspect of like you can still like for example, if XBL goes down and you have that game installed on your system.
No, you won't be able to play it. It has to. It's going to be like when your friend lends you a game, right? You know, when you do game share,
you can still play the game if XBL goes down. You just can't play the multiplayer.
No, people have said that it won't let them play. I've seen it on Twitter so many times. Because they haven't set the console to. You have to set the console to your home console. Yeah. Not everyone has done that. So, a lot of people wonder why they can't access things when the internet's gone down when Xbox Live has gone down or when PlayStation Network's gone down. Because you actually have to assign that system to. So Sony know that you are the user of those licenses on that one console, but not everyone's savvy. Like we are, everyone here savvy. We know the ins and out of our devices.
Yeah.
But most people, they wonder why they're locked out. Like it's like they've gone to an ATM and it won't take their PIN number.
Yeah, because somebody was asking me that. A friend of mine that I was talking to on PSN was asking me about that. Like, if you're disconnected from the internet, can you play games that you downloaded off of Game Pass? So I was like, all right, well, let me try it. So I disconnected my Ethernet cable from the back of my system, and I was still signed in, but I was not on Xbox Live because I had no internet, and I was able to still play the games perfectly fine.
You must be you must have assigned your console to home.
Well, that's what it was with default when I got it.
So why is it that people complain then? Even on PlayStation, they say that they're told there's something comes up on the screen saying that you have to check that you have the license to play this game. Why?
Yeah,
why?
As long as the account on PSN, no matter how many accounts that you make on PSN, as long as that account is assigned to your console, like like when you actually can I forget what they call it, but like you can like say yes or no to make it like your default console for that account. Primary. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. Then whatever game that you have installed on your off of that account on your system, you can play on any other account as long as that account on that system is primary.
Yeah, but you said it's always set to default, isn't it? Default. So have people accidentally turned it off? How is it they can't access their game?
I don't know if they're turning it off or maybe they're not reading it right when they make the account. They're not reading it right, because I know ever since like when I first made my account on Xbox, I never had to do anything like that at all.
No, I don't think you had to do that when you got the PS4 day one anyway, though. It's already set up like that. The problem is most of these people are game sharing.
Yeah, so that's what it is. They're complaining about games they didn't pay for. Oh, I get it.
Exactly. Like, for example, you were to give me your fucking account, I can play all the games you own. You know what I'm saying? And let's say I fucking signed out of your shit and went to mine. Those shits wouldn't work for my account because I didn't buy them for my account.
Yep,
you bought them. That's basically the problem lies. People trying to game share and they try to make a big deal out of it. So
they'll never admit that they're game sharing. So like they'll put the blame on like, oh, I can't get access to this because I have like this little lockbox, and
that sounds like ruling self-entitlement, boy. You're actually complaining about stuff you don't own.
Yep. You get a lot of people in the community that do that.
Not one dime towards, but you expect the shit to work.
You're right.
They put out one time towards it, but whatever.
Well, yeah, let's move on here, guys. I want to get into this whole 1080p makes you a better gamer, because as the messiah of Xbox,
who the fuck
I've heard the community say, well, the reason why there's a resolution war is because Sony started the resolution war. So I dug back. Yeah. I prayed to the gods, and the gods, sent me this picture, because when whoever said 1080p makes you a better gamer, that's bullshit. Okay, so what the media did do, because I researched this today, folks, they didn't believe that anything. They didn't believe there was a huge difference between 1080p and 720p. So I went back and I found the first console war picture from the Xbox and PlayStation 4 generation in 2013. I dug back deep because the people are screaming for the truth.
You might even send me that. I smell a video.
Here is your picture of a 1080p game and a 720p game. So this is the first picture that can be accredited with the resolution war that's still raging, because there's still people tweeting how a game is 1440p and it's 1937p and stuff like that.
I'm so tired of resolution.
Yes. This picture exists because nobody within the media, and I'm talking about the gaming media, believed that there was any difference in 1080p and 720p. But I'm looking at this on my screen, and I can see there's a difference. I don't know which one is which, So, but I get to see it. It says, for me, it says 1280 by 720p images may be subject to copyright. This picture over on this side has better draw distance
and color.
Color.
Yeah.
So I assume this is the 1080p picture. So it's the exact same picture. This is Call of Duty Ghosts, and the game was garbage.
What do you think really started this whole war? I tell you right now, you were paying $500 for a console that couldn't even do the base resolution, which is 1080p. Yeah, I'm saying the damn console doing made up resolutions. Yeah, but
Well,
remember they had made up resolutions like 692.
792p.
Yeah, there you go. There's a lot of weird resolutions that be made 540 something. I'm like, what's going on with these weird resolutions? And
well, I mean, I don't know, but I'm trying to get the biggest UFO out of the sky and put it on the front yard.
Craig, this has been going on for as long as I've been gaming. When I was a kid, it was all about which computer had more colors or better sound effects.
Really?
Like this has been going on forever, bro.
I thought just which console had the most variety in games, but really we didn't care about that sort of thing.
It was about Spectrum and Commodore 64 and Amstrad, and people used to argue over which version had more colors, which had the better sound. It wasn't about pixels, or it was more about Spectrum colors only have like one color or two colors, but Commodore 64 has 7 colors, and the BBC Micro, you probably never heard of that one.
I mean, honestly, I don't even remember us having these type of arguments back in the 90s. I don't even remember that. I just remember we all owned one or two. Yeah, I remember we owned one or two or all 3 consoles. You know what I'm saying? We just played those games.
The bit remember Mortal Kombat on the SNES and on the Genesis. One had no blood, the other one had all the fatalities removed.
Oh wait, yeah, that's right. That is true.
I remember that. Yeah. But graphically, the Nintendo.
Wait, but check this out. You guys are forgetting back when Sega and Nintendo used to fight each other. And with the Nintendo
blast processing.
Yes. And then you had Sony and Nintendo fighting with Crash Bandicoot used to stand outside of the Nintendo headquarters and call out
talking shit. I remember
that. That's what companies, right? That's what competitors used to do back then. People weren't whining and crying and
slandering the name,
stuff like that.
Fake stuff.
Yeah.
See, we went from the Bit War days to which console had the most polygons. Now we're into the actual era of resolution.
Yeah, resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
what do you guys think is going to be for next generation?
Like the
their console is like their girlfriend or their wife.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Console, you're insulting one of their family members.
Yeah, I said this numerous times with Jay. I mean, I'm fine with the graphics we got now. Like, the PS4 Pro graphics can be the standard for quite some time. Mm-hmm. We don't really need the PS5 or the new Xbox to go 8K, 4K, all this shit. We can just have one set resolution, which is 1440p, 60 frames. We don't need all this 4K shit. We really don't.
Yeah.
Especially when, gaming PCs are just destroying the scene. If you really want 4K, if you want to go beyond that, you're in the wrong market. You're not going to get that shit on a console.
But here's the truth, guys. This is the truth. It's not about the resolution. It's about one side getting the upper hand on the other.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly
what it's about.
It
has nothing to do
Craig said a while back when they said, I think he said when they don't have it, they complain about it, say it's trash, but when they have it, it's amazing, some shit like that.
Yep.
Well, check this out. PUBG.
That shit up on Twitter, so yeah.
Nintendo Switch and PUBG pretty much proved it, right? Nintendo is the weakest console, and it's winning NPDs. It's coming up. I mean, shit, it's half the install base of Xbox. Yeah. And then PUBG proved that if you make a fun game, people would buy it, even if it is 14 frames a second, even if it is 10 or sub 30 or sub 60. So we're gamers in whole when
I miss the arcades. You got a point there. I do miss the fucking arcades.
Yeah, well, you're right. But I want everybody for the record, and the people in the chat didn't know where this all started. It's this picture here and again, this picture exists because when whoever at Sony said 1080p makes you a better gamer or whatever, nobody in the media believed it. No, and so they took a picture of the first big multi-plat release on each console because Call of Duty at the time was the top dog as far as sales. I'm not here to say it's good or bad. I played Call of Duty Ghosts. I thought it was straight garbage, trash. It was DCE. But this picture here, you can clearly see the one on the right looks better. Now, I don't know if that makes me a better gamer. It does, I guess. I mean, I don't know if I don't know how that translates. I think that's BS, but clearly this is a better picture. And this is on, and it is like I got the best resolution on my screen, on my computer screen. So, but I can see the differences in the draw distances and things like that. So even everything's a little bit darker. The Earth I mean, I don't know how, Earth is round. So all these flat Earth people, this must be another lie, So just kidding. But this
Call
is
of
for all
Duty Ghosts. The fuck
Yeah,
that game.
Do you know the problem with the Xbox One? It's not that it didn't have a power problem. It had a lack of imagination problem. Because Nintendo proves that you can have a low-powered system and have an amazing game experience on it because of the creativity and imagination that goes into it.
That's true, but that's always been kind of their downfall in a sense. Remember the N64 with that
there's
terrible
a lack
controller?
of imagination over at Xbox.
But
yo, that N64, dude, that console.
N64 with that damn that controller, Foxy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I actually love that fucking controller. The N64 next to GameCube, dude. I love that fucking controller. Dude.
Wasn't that the first analog controller?
That was like
technically the second. Technically the second.
What was the first one?
The Atari 5200. Atari 5200.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
And then comment on that damn.
Don't forget your Sega Saturn with the Knights game. It had an analog.
You know what? I must have been one of the very few 10 million people that actually liked the Sega Saturn, because I used to play a lot of the Capcom fighters on there, like Darkstalkers and the Street Fighters and all that stuff. And Marvel,
those were considered to be the better versions, though, right? There, Fox.
Marvel versus X-Men. The Saturn was the best console for 2D fighters.
Yeah. Just like Dreamcast was.
Yeah, I used to love it. It was like an arcade. Like I had an arcade in my house.
Yeah. Unless you buy that massive, overpriced Neo Geo.
Hey, Foxy, what are you expecting for the PS5?
Well,
expecting a major
6 months ago, I was privy to some information which I put out in a video already. So I pretty much have a good inkling of what's coming. I don't know if you saw the video or not, but I've got some sources who are over at Sony, a couple of people, and it's gonna be like at least 4 T-flops more powerful than what is available now, which is obviously the Xbox One X.
Yeah, I know. I heard the rumors were like being 10 teraflops or some shit like
something around that region. It could be slightly less, it could be slightly more around that region, but roughly 4 T-flops more powerful.
Yeah,
it's
but
I mean,
like, there's a power, the console. What I meant to say, I guess I should have been more specific. But do you expect a big leap?
No,
from graphics from the visual category.
I expect a refinement of what we've already getting.
Okay, so basically 4K mastered. No hiccups.
Well, look, we're already at a stage now with PS4, Xbox One, where we're bordering nearly on photorealism.
Right.
Okay, but at the same time, due to consumer-friendly pricing, I mean, they can give us the console that can give us cinema quality CGI, but if you're willing to pay 10 grand for it, nobody is. So they have to make a console that is affordable. So therefore, you're limited in technology. So there's already a ceiling in the box, isn't there? But they're doing a damn good job of what we're getting at the moment with Uncharted 4 and games like Detroit Become Human, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Last of Us 2. So we're already bordering on realism. So I just expect a refinement of what we already have, but I don't expect it to be a leap that we saw with PS1 and PS2.
I mean, games nowadays now have presets, with the Pro and the Xbox, right? With the 4K and the 1080p option.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting at least,
you're even seeing
you got that. Right. I would hope and expect for the PS5, you will have like an option to toggle 60 frames. That's
I like it when a game does come out and they actually they add a lot of features that you would only really ever be able to fuck with on PC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, there's a Ryzen chip now. There's a $99 Ryzen chip that's able to, it's like an APU chip.
I don't think a Ryzen will work though with the builds that these consoles go for. I'm sorry, I don't think it will work.
No, but it won't be that chip. It will be an evolution of that chip. While the time,
okay, I get you.
You see, that's entry level. So if that's $99, right? Depending on how Microsoft and Sony how much they want to charge you for the next systems like PS5, Xbox 2. Maybe they'll offer a chip that is $150
like the
stock.
Ryzen 1700 in a bit.
Yeah, like a more powerful one, and then it will still have a graphics card though. It will still come with a separate kind of GPU just to give it the extra grunt.
Right.
Do you understand? So it'll be a CPU with a built-in GPU in the API to assist the main GPU to allow 60 frames per second and close to 4K, and in some cases definitely 4K. But to be honest, I don't care about the 4K part. What I care about is seeing no shimmering and no jaggies. If you can give me exceptional anti-aliasing in games, then I don't care about 4K, because I care more about the doorstep
you
around.
Care more about the refinement, you care more about the detail in the world.
Yeah, I think you can have a 1080p game with amazing anti-aliasing. You don't need 4K.
Okay, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I'm tired looking at games on YouTube. Look like I'm sorry, they look better than the actual game that you got on your screen when you're playing at home. So yeah, I understand.
Yeah, give me high. You know what I would love in the PS5? I want ultra settings like a PC. Yeah, keep it at 1080p. Keep it, and then checkerboard up to 4K if you want to for those with 4K TVs. But keep it. Give us a 1080p option that allows us to have high to ultra details, right? Settings. Give us great shadow quality and all that. And then if you want it in 4K, then it will drop down to medium to high settings.
Right. Okay.
But I want an optimal experience at 1080p. If I want to play at 4K, I understand there's going to be a compromise.
Right.
That's true. Right. Yeah. As it should be. But all right, anybody has anything else to add? I'm gonna wind it down.
It's just funny how people are talking more about CPUs and GPUs now than games. I
agree.
There's one thing I do want to share real quick though, Craig.
You want to talk about that? You need to be on PC.
I wish PC's identity was more upfront, man, like it used to be back in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, for people that are like, what are you talking about? Back in the 90s and early 2000s, man, like PC, like it was rare. You would see games go from PC to consoles and consoles to PC. And sure, consoles did have a couple games that ported from like the NES, like Castlevania and Mega Man, and they turned out to be, words can't even describe how fucking garbage they were, but let's just say they were bad. But yeah, I mean, like nowadays it's like everything goes to PC nowadays, outside from exclusive games. And it's just like, man, I really wish like that own or exclusive originality was there on the PC front still, and still being the top front running thing. But hey, whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. But there was one thing though, Craig. I just want to screen share something. Like this made me super happy this morning when I woke up and I saw this.
All right.
Give me a second here. Don't mind my shitty ass. This got me really excited today when I saw this, dude. Super pumped. Because both of them are on there. I'm screen sharing on Google Plus or Hangouts.
That's it.
Right. Turok.
Yeah, both of them are on there.
I've got that on the PS3. I've got Turok on the PS3.
Yeah, they're coming out for I think, I don't know if it's timed. I don't know. Because I saw the ESRB rated the first two games, and whatever you want to call it. And I checked the store today on PS and I didn't see them on there, so I don't know. But either way, I'm happy. Meant to be exclusive? Well, I don't know. I don't think it's supposed to be exclusive. I think it's just timed. I think because I saw it on the list when I was looking at it yesterday, and I saw that it was just said timed. So,
but it was a time when that was synonymous with Nintendo,
right? But hey, if it's timed, you know what, man? Fuck it, it's better than not having anything at all. I'll take it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, those is coming out. More games is good. But yeah. Well, gentlemen, we're gonna get on out of here. A friend of mine, we're gonna go out and grab a tall frosty one. so yeah, we'll get on up out of here. I'll start with you, Mr. Fox, brother. Go ahead and shout yourself out.
Well, I'm grateful to be here and to speak with people who know their shit, because the worst possible reality for me is I'm talking with people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So thank you everyone for being knowledgeable about video games.
Absolutely.
Also, welcome, thank you to everyone in the chat as well for being engaged. Even though some of you are talking smack to each other, you're here, and without you, it would be a very empty place. So thank you for even turning up. And do hit the like button for Craig, because he's a good guy, and good people deserve good things.
Agreed.
Definitely.
Ryan, shut yourself out, brother.
Yeah, it's Ryan, the professional. Shout out to Craig. Thanks for the invite. I had a good time talking to everybody. Good to finally talk to Foxy Gaming. So I get to talk to you.
Thank you,
Kratos and Mephisto's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. Very
Likewise, sir. Likewise.
about games. Very good. Mondays, you already know, starting a new podcast, so that's gonna be pretty good. I would love to have Foxy on there if you'd be interested.
Sorry, say that again, bro. I'm sorry. I was reading the chat. Just what did you say about you doing
creating a new podcast for Mondays? One of you be interested?
What time? Where are you in the States first? Where's your time zone?
Eastern. So 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, that's cool. So we're gonna be 5 hours difference, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, that's 12 o'clock.
It's
That's 12 midnight. How long's your podcast on for?
You said what?
How long's your podcast on for?
Probably an hour. One.
Yeah, I can do it, man. I can do it. Because I'm just thinking about the time. Because I'd be on a lot of podcasts, but because most of my fan base or people that invite me onto these things are in the States and I'm in the UK, there's a time difference.
Yeah,
so it's 5 hours between us. So yeah, I can do it, man. Just let me know on Twitter, man, and I'm there, man. I love talking about games, man.
I'll follow you on Twitter after this hangout ends.
I'll follow you back.
Alrighty.
There you go. Well, Fatal, go ahead and shout yourself out there, brother.
All right, guys. This is your boy Fatal McMotherfucking Mephisto. Thanks for having me on your show, Craig. I appreciate it. And it was also, again, it was a privilege and great talking to you again there, Foxman. And
thank you, man.
And same with you, Ryan, as well. So thanks for having me, dude. I appreciate it. I think we're doing Titanfall's podcast next. Are we not there, Craig?
What now?
At 8 o'clock, we're doing Titanfall's Princess's podcast.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna go grab this all cold with a quickness and come back.
With a quickness, he says. But yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. It was fun. It was great, and and I agree with Fox on that aspect too as well. I love talking about video games, dude, because that's my passion. So let's keep gaming.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no problem, man. Glad you all could be here. Kratos, the formerly most toxic gamer on YouTube, who sins have been absolved. Go ahead and shout yourself out there, brother.
Everybody's been great, man. Another one in the history books. It's your boy J-Dub, a.k.a. Kratos, the god of PlayStation and all things gaming. Thanks again, Craig. Fox is always good. Ryan, my man, you know what's up.
You already know.
Fatal, we're definitely gonna
get
together here soon, man. Do a podcast together. So you guys be looking out for that.
Oh, and happy late birthday, by the way.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks, appreciate that.
No problem, buddy. No problem.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I hope you had a blessed one, fam.
I did, fam. I did.
That's good, man. It's good.
Yeah. But it is Craig Harris, everybody, the black man in the green chair, the messiah of Xbox, who brought you the best Xbox news this week. It gets no better than that.
It changes the game.
Yeah, go grab a $500 Xbox One X that comes with something called PUBG and another joystick. And PUBG, I guess, is running, 20 frames per second now. So it's running a little bit faster than your grandmother in a walker. So
Let's
do that.
Oh, you're cruel.
Yeah, guys, we'll get on up out of here Friday. Enjoy your Friday. Have a good, safe weekend. I'm going to grab a cold, tall one. And check me out on Titanfall Princess podcast here in about another hour with my man here, Fatal. But guys, thanks for coming. Ryan, Sean.
How is she? I haven't heard or spoke to her in a long time. How is she?
She's doing really, really good, man. Very, very good.
The last time I watched her podcast, there was a lot of drama. So I don't know what's going on. Is it different
it's not
now?
like that anymore. Thank
Oh,
God,
you think that's going to end in the meantime?
Yeah, it's not like it at all anymore now.
She freaked out on one of the ones. Get off